Right, thank you for sharing that. And what do you think is the biggest difference between our cultures, between Japanese culture and Canadian culture, do you think?
I'm not sure if it's the biggest differences or not, but I think the food menus is the most different things between the Canadian culture and Japanese culture.
Right.
And Canadian one doesn't have any picture or images, so it's quite hard for me to imagine or expect the food, like how how big it is or something.
Good point. Yeah, it's very different
Yeah.
than in Japan. Right. And how about you? What do you think?
I think Canada has two official languages, English and French, and Japan has only one official language. I think that's the difference, big difference.
Right.
And when I stay here, I hear so many English accents
Right.
and many languages, so that's confused me.
Yeah, and that was something that you weren't expecting, all the different accents, maybe? No. Yeah, fair enough. Great. And do you think there's anything that our cultures have in common? Is there anything that connects us, do you think?
We have a lot, but one of them is like there's many restaurants which are from different countries, like Korean, and Mexican, and Indians, and Japanese restaurant as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice selection
Yeah.
for international foods. Okay, great. And what about your opinion? What do you think?
Japanese and Canadians are so polite and always say sorry. So
That felt familiar?
yeah.
That's okay. That's definitely that's very true. Even my experience in Japan, I would agree with that for sure. Great. And in Victoria, Vancouver Island, as you know, we're known for our nature and different places to visit or activities to do. What would you recommend people do, or where can people go when they're here?
I know that it's the typical sightseeing spot, but I recommend them to visit downtown in Victoria, especially like Inner Harbor,
Right.
because there are many restaurants or pubs that they can enjoy eating or drinking.
Yes.
So I recommend them to visit there.
Yeah, it is quite beautiful downtown in that area for sure.
I feel like stepped into like different world or something.
It is, yeah. It's like you stepped into the postcard,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
When you're in the Inner Harbor, and I agree. It has a unique feeling there for sure. And where would you recommend?
I recommend Parliament Buildings and Fisherman's Wharf.
Oh, yes.
And because Parliament Buildings are very beautiful in every night, and in Fisherman's Wharf you can see colorful houses, and they're so beautiful, and you can eat fish and chips.
Yes.
And I also recommend going on whale watching, because according to my friend, you can watch whales 95%. So
That's a pretty high percentage. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Guaranteed nature, right? Guaranteed wildlife. Okay, those are very good suggestions, both of you. Thank you. And just as a final question, is there any kind of advice or tip that you would give to specifically international students who are thinking of coming to study?
Yeah. I have a lot of advice to them, but one of the most important thing is that they learned or know how to use the super common English or phrases, like
Yes.
especially like modal verbs.
My favorite.
Permissions. Can I? I use them almost every day or something.
Oh, wow. And you
they-
find it very useful.
Yeah. If they knew that word, they can survive in Victoria.
Survival
Yeah.
grammar. Yes.
Otherwise, I recommend them to enjoy or just run that is interested in.
Right.
Yeah.
That follow their instinct and see what they enjoy doing here as well. Not be
Yeah.
afraid to try, right?
Yeah.
That's great advice. And what would you advise?
So please don't hesitate to do something, and please try what you want to do, and make sure you don't regret when you go back to your country.
Right.
And you can rely on people around you So if you have a problem, you can do that, and they will help you. And because they're so kind, and please don't feel like you're alone.
Oh,
So,
very
yeah.
nice.
Good luck.
Yeah, definitely. Good luck. I think that's great advice, that to remember you're not alone, and that whether you have a homestay family or whether you have contact with teachers or a school or even just a community, right?
Yeah.
I think it's extremely important to remember you're not alone and we can help somehow. Well, what can I say? Thank you both so much. I know you're at the end of your program and you're very busy. I really appreciate you taking the time to give some advice and some feedback to future students. I know they will really appreciate it as well. So best of luck to the both of you, and thank you for coming today.
Thanks for inviting us.
Oh, great. Thank you. Take care.